Welcome to another episode of Game of Do Podcast. I'm Bren,
I'm Spidey.
and we're late, and it's
Yes, we
pretty
are.
much my fault. I'm not gonna lie, but
Yes, we are. Also I did get my teeth absolutely. I got a
fillings?
filling. Yeah, I got fillings, and I looked like a monster, a freak. I like Two Face. On the inside, it felt like I was. I looked normal, but I felt my lips just kind of like, just felt like crusted. It was terrible. And then I was like, oh. And when I talked with S's, I sound like Sean Connery, kind of.
I am looking to the side because that's where your face is now.
Yeah.
Because I have an Xbox that I play now a lot. But anyway, long story short, people. Obviously, one of the biggest things to come out that we've been waiting for whatever,
Yeah,
like 10 years,
Starfield.
8 to 10 years.
Oh my
Starfield
gosh,
came
dude.
out.
It has been a long
And
time.
I got some things
Yeah, it'd be
that I
interesting
want to talk
hear.
about that I want to get Spidey's opinion on because he's more of a Bethesda guy than I am. Like he
Yeah,
knows
that's
a lot
kinda-
more about them than I am.
Yeah, they're
So I got an Xbox for
Yeah.
multiple reasons.
Well, he didn't want to.
And that's another thing I want to talk about is consoles because I'm not like a console fanboy now or
Yeah,
something. I'm just
no. Well, he didn't want to have to buy all that crap and
there's a couple of things. Starfield would not run well on my PC.
no.
I tried, and before you're like, well, what about this? What about this? I've been waiting to play this game for 10 years. I tried everything, okay? I tried literally every option that there is to make it not run terrible, and it ran. When you were going into new areas, it would stutter. And I mean any new room, it would stutter. But if I'd stay in that room for a little bit, it would function perfectly. But no matter what I did, I couldn't get it. And it was like bad stutter, audio lag, character freezing up, like levels of stutter.
Yeah, so basically they didn't
It
optimize
was
it.
unplayable. And then I have my health would be gone
At
by the
all.
time I'd come back too. So it was like
So they didn't even.
that's another conversation is optimization for
Gosh,
consoles
dude,
instead
why
of
would-
computers,
why would
which
you-
is interesting.
Oh my gosh, dude! It's like, how do you know how obvious you could be? How much more obvious you could be with that? And also, so the new companies can get the GPU companies can get their money. That's the only reason why.
So
But-
what made you find out that you
Oh,
because I actually played it and then I returned. Thank God Steam let me return.
I heard people talk about the 1080 Ti having problems with it.
Oh, so you did some
Yeah,
extensive research.
I did some research.
I should have done that too.
For me,
before I
honestly,
did
what
the
I'm
work.
gonna do is, I'm just gonna
Get a new card or what?
just buy and I might just get a new rig, man. I'm probably gonna get a new rig. at
Like a
some
whole
point.
new computer.
Oh yeah, dude, 100%. I don't think. It's been 4 years. I mean, I've used this thing for how long? 4 or 5 years. At some point,
we-
it gets.
The thing about it is, you know, this day's gonna
Yeah.
come at some point.
Yeah, it is.
And
So-
the 1080 Ti is like still a great card, but it just
yeah.
it can play almost everything. But these next gen games, I just have a feeling we're gonna see a consistent pattern
Well,
of like
Also, notice something.
not be able to play it.
Quote unquote. That's what's interesting about it. It looks kind of like every other game to me graphically in terms of the characters and stuff. Like for me, it doesn't like that's what's
It's-
confusing me. Where's the
It looked I think that there were moments in the game where it looks unbelievable.
where's
But there's a lot of moments in the game where it looks like nothing new.
yeah, where's the fidelity coming from?
It depends. I don't know. On my computer, I gotta say it looked
Yeah, no.
absurdly,
When-
insanely good.
well, when
I
you
was
s-
like when I was on a planet, I was like, this is insane. Like
That's
the
what it is.
looks
So it's
good.
the environments. That's really where it's coming from.
The characters somewhat depending. Some of the light, it depends on the lighting.
Yeah, it's
But in the planets, it was like I had to turn off so much stuff to be able to move around on the planets because it was like
well, you know what's interesting about
it looks gorgeous.
about the humans. That's one thing that we're still stuck on is human characters. We still can't they'll look great in a certain lighting scene, but in anything else they just kind of look fake. Like
Yeah.
you can just that's what's and
Yeah,
that's
depends on the
something-
game. Honestly, I think Cyberpunk looked better than
Yeah.
and ran
Oh,
better
guaranteed.
than Starfield.
Dude,
And honestly, Starpunk was not Starpunk. What is it?
Cyberpunk 2077, yeah.
Cyberpunk had a worse launch, but like,
well, it was optimized.
Worked better.
Well, because
on my TI by far.
Well, it's because, dude, it's because people give CD Project Red crap all the time. Like, they give them crap all the time.
They're not even that big of a. They're not like a company like
Bethesda.
Bethesda.
No, dude, Bethesda. They do this all the time. They're nickel and diming people. That's what they're doing. I had to upgrade for Fallout 4 as well, and that wasn't even like for the time.
You had to upgrade your card?
Oh, I had to upgrade my whole PC. I couldn't even play it on my other one. That's what made me upgrade it at first, was Fallout 4. And then
I didn't notice that. I didn't realize that.
No, at the time it was actually a decently graphic game. Now it still looked pretty bad, if I'm going to be honest. Like, graphically, if you compare it to any other game, it was not that great. Like, the human faces, your face looked fine. Every other character's face looked terrible in comparison.
And the faces is like graphics. So that is something I want to touch on, like we're saying, because we have 1080 Ti's. They're old cards.
Yeah,
they
they're
are
old. They're old.
Like, we knew that this day would come, kind of.
I knew this day would come.
And I was like, look.
Well, you're just doing it for one game. Like you told me that.
You would be, kind of. But there's a lot of other reasons. Like, there's other reasons with Xbox, too. Because, first off, Starfield came with Xbox Game Pass. So you don't have to buy the whole game. So if I didn't like it that much, I wouldn't be like, well, about $70, $80,
no.
$70.
I get that.
That's one. Two, I don't have to mess with anything. It's just optimized. I just play it. You know the relief that comes when I just start up the game and it works exactly how it's intended and I have no problems. Like,
yeah, you're
this thing
more
also
like that.
Runs Fortnite better than my computer. Yeah. It runs everything I'm playing. It runs.
Well, I mean, technology has become is so different now. It's advancing.
That is something I didn't expect. I did not expect it to.
Like, they've become way better. Consoles,
but people optimize a lot.
Oh yeah,
for consoles
for sure.
as well, which is another thing. That's why it's almost like they know that people who have consoles don't want to mess with all these settings.
Well, what they
want to just play the game.
Well, it's because PC nerds like me, and that's me. I would be in the mood. I used to do that all the time. I would go into if it was a multiplayer game, I could care less because you want it to just run smoother. But if I'm playing a single player game,
you don't care how it looks. You just want to run.
And you know what's funny about me? I still don't care about it, even in a single-player game. To be honest, graphically, I'm one of the guys who can pop open an N64 game, notice the 20 frames per second, be a little bit bugged by it.
Different. But that's different, though. That's like you're playing a game that we played as kids that was like that in the first place.
I guess what I'm saying is I don't need it to. I don't care if there's drops, because like if there's significant drops where it can't even run, then
if there's some choppiness, I don't care. Either. Like, I'm not like, if my PC could have ran it and it was just like sometimes it was like a little choppy when it was rendering, would not care.
Well, that's what interests me. That's what's fascinating.
If I'm playing $109.
Yeah, you bought the early
because I want to play it early. Yeah, I should have done more research.
No,
I should have.
Both of us should have. Well,
but it was like, which is why with the Xbox I did a ton of. I was like, does this run flawlessly on Xbox? Because if it doesn't, I'm not even going to worry about the game.
That's what's funny about it.
I'm not going to worry about it.
Notice years before this, even a year before this, you got Cyberpunk. When did Cyberpunk come out?
I can't remember.
Let me look this up here. Let me look up Cyberpunk. Let me...
Well, the reason I bring up Cyberpunk is there's a reason that I'm bringing up Cyberpunk, and this is where I wanted to get into Bethesda games as a whole.
Yeah, not like just the whole tech discussion. You're talking.
No,
about
we can keep talking about the tech. We can keep talking about it. I'm saying like the reason I brought that up was because yes, the launch was disastrous, but it runs way better on my card, and it looks. I think it looks better.
Even with the
maybe not the environmental graphics and certain stuff, but like. I think the dialogue with the characters is better. I think everything is better.
You want me to be honest? Dude, that's always been a curse. Like, that's been a... Modern Bethesda is like that. The dialogue sucks. It's boring. Like if you want me to be honest about the...
Okay, so you... Okay.
Like,
so
dude,
basically...
No.
Basically, what as we're getting into it, what I want to say is Starfield's... like I don't know if it's just because I don't like Bethesda that much anymore, but I'm just like kind of bored.
Bro,
I'm like, this is like boring.
old Bethesda used to have such cool characters, such interesting writing, such like interesting stuff. New Bethesda, dude, I like Fallout 4, but do you know how many companions? You know how the companions were like hyped up as the big feature. You know, they're like, oh, you can romance them and you care about them.
Yeah.
I never play with companions. They're boring. They're the same.
Oh, okay.
They're the same stock character. They don't play any differently. They just have slightly different weapons. That's it. They're basically and you know how you romance them? It's not through dialogue. You pick a lock to romance one of them. You pick locks. I'm not kidding. That's how bad if you do stuff they like, if you do a good thing in a quest or a bad thing in a quest.
That's how it's happening right now. That's exactly how
or if you pick locks.
That's how it's happening, because in this game, you could do things that people like. They'll be like, this person liked that when you pick talking.
Oh, it does that every time. I hate that.
And I was like, I don't. You never. That's not even.
No.
It's not even about me conversing with the person.
No,
that's stupid.
It's not like KOTOR where you have to wait till you level up and.
Oh my gosh, KOTOR was so much better. Where you actually, because what you're saying, it's about you learning about them through conversations. Yeah,
it's like you get, and at the end there's a quest at the end that you do that actually ties in with them. So you finish their story arc off. They'll bring something up. They'll be like, oh hey, this this happened to me, or this happened in my past, and then you end up going. You end up meeting this person from their past, and you kill him or whatever, or you find Karth's son, or you find Mission's brother. Like, there's actual stuff going on. But with Bethesda games, it's, hey, can we bang? There you go. That's your...
Dude.
That's it.
Like...
Like, not even to be like that.
But so essentially what I'm finding out is, and it could just be my brain rot from just playing multiplayer games for so long, but I'm very bored. I mean, like, very bored. Like, I became like a cowboy and did some bounties, like that, like, cowboy space thing you can do. It's just, none of it's...
It's just like, well, you're just...
So go to a planet, kill the guy, come back.
Yes, see what I'm saying? So, back in the day...
In Cyberpunk, when you do side quests, you can't tell if it's the main or side quest because it's so
well written. It's like
it's so like in depth compared. Like that freaking quest I did. I don't know if
I've never played
quest
Cyberpunk,
you do where you're like in the desert helping this like family in the desert, and you got to get them to trust you.
Yeah.
Then you end up like liking the girl, and then you like help them for so long, and you can hit on her or not hit on her, and then you finally get her at the end. But you're still like help their family, and I was like, whoa, that had to like progress me in the main mission for sure. Side mission, I was like, this was so fleshed out.
I know I've had that happen before in games. I say it a lot with Dying Light, but that happened a lot. I'd be like, oh, is this quest a part of the main story or?
So I guess I assumed it was going to be,
dude, bro,
like Cyberpunk.
No, dude, you're giving Bethesda. It's not like Fallout 3 where you can get or even Oblivion. It may not be like the main quest, but going on them, they were so well written and fun. Like with the Thieves Guild, you were like a bunch of Robin Hoods going around stealing from the rich, giving to the poor. You had to get information from the beggars and stuff and break into the castle, and there'd be whole dialogue stuff, and characters would have interesting personalities. In Fallout 4, I love the game. I spent a lot of time with it. But I'm going to be honest, dude, when you really think about it, it's so...
I tried to play Fallout before and I got bored.
Dude, it's generic. I love it, but it is so generic. I can't get into it again either.
And then, sorry. My gosh. Allergies are so bad, but...
It is very generic.
I guess I just didn't think about how bored I was going to be. Because I'm not... That doesn't mean that you're not going to like it, or that's what I'm saying.
If I'm...
like... Dude, and also the ship combat is like the ship stuff is a letdown. Like I thought the way they advertise it is like you could fly your ship in space and explore. It's all fast travel when you're going to different areas.
Yeah, dude, I knew
all fast
they were
travel.
Gonna do it. I knew they were going to
The combat's like so generic for a
Yeah.
space combat. It's cool. The boarding ships and stuff is cool. Like there's aspects.
That's
of it.
the only thing
You
I
being able
liked
to board
about
ships,
Fallout 4 was the combat. That was the
you being
part.
able to like board ships and like take their stuff and like leave, and like that kind of stuff is cool. But other than that, and I'm not super far into the game, but dude,
like,
and there's so much
dialogue.
talking, and it's all drawn out so
not
long.
fun. Yeah. Well, also,
like, oh, dude, why is every cutscene everyone's moving like at this speed?
half speed.
It's like, what, dude? This isn't how human conversations. Can you get to the point?
No.
Can you get to the point? Your voice acting's incredible. I would love to hear it. Why does you saying why does it take you a minute to say one sentence? It's like, dude,
Yeah.
oh, I'm just like skipping.
That is not how Bethesda games are. That's one thing. When they have a dialogue sequence, it's short, it's sweet, and it's to the point. It's video gamey, sure, but it's nice and short. They give you a simple objective. They don't sit there for 2 hours going,
any conversation I'm in, I'm just like, I don't care.
No. Yeah, I get that.
You're like, but that's what I'm saying. I think that's more me. Which is why I'm curious for you to play. I think that's more me being like, okay, shut up, and less, because I feel like when you get a Bethesda game, you should be expecting this dialogue, like a heavy dialogue game.
I would disagree in some ways because there's a difference. Bethesda gets to the point quick, a lot of times. But
I'm saying these types of games are
dialogue
heavy
yes.
games.
Yes.
Like they're like, so I don't know what I was expecting it to be. Like these are like deep RPG games. Like I don't know what. So that's where I think the cutoff is of like, you might not think of it that way.
We'll see. I mean,
because I'm like, I think I just don't like games like this anymore.
Do you want
this style of game?
I'm not even. You know what's funny? I'm not even in the mood to play it right now, dude. I've got so much other stuff I want to do right now instead of. I don't. See, this goes back to the discussion I was talking about before, where I was like, you have so much stuff you'd rather be doing right now than just sitting down doing one single game. If I'm gonna play a game, let it be structured in some way. Bethesda is not structured.
I think that it is structurally you can do what you want, but it's almost like too much.
Yes.
I'm like, this is a cool concept, but like, do I need this much freedom? Like,
there's a point where freedom
why does walking everywhere take so long?
Oh, so they don't even. Yeah, that's another thing that was nice about the other games. You could just fast travel to the towns.
You can fast travel when you're in spaces and space stuff, and you might be able to towns, but even the towns are like large and confusing. So I'm like,
wow. So they really.
I'm like looking around. I'm like, okay, let me run 10 minutes to this place, and then run 10 minutes back to the same place.
So they really screwed up on this. Then.
So let me give you an example. There's this really cool. So you get to this planet, and there's like this cool aspect of like, oh, there's a bank robbery going on that you have to stop before you can continue with the story. And there's a lot of cool options. Like you could talk to the commander, and you could be rude, or you could be like, I'll do it for money, or like that kind of stuff. Then you could choose to like go through a back door and kill everyone, or you can choose to try to talk to him, convince him first. So I try to convince the guys first. Didn't have much luck. So then I go through the back, kill all of them. And then the commander's like, you're a good guy. Like, you should join our group if you want to. Which you don't have to, but you can.
Yeah, it's like every other.
And then, which is nothing new for them. It's almost just like the same thing, just remapped with space.
If I'm going to be honest, that sounds like almost too much freedom even for a Bethesda game. Usually with a quest, they kind of funnel you into an area where it's like, oh, this is your play space. This is your play space. This is the dungeon you go into. They don't force you to go around 50 different towns. And usually they're like, hey, this is the area. If you go to this town, you get these quests. And sometimes they stay in town. Sometimes you'll go out to a small little dungeon. You're not going out to 50 different areas. And they're not that big.
Yeah. So,
it's not that confusing.
So I get to the place, and then there's this guy who you're trying to convince to give you these maps to tell you where this artifact is, because like the main story is you collecting these artifacts.
Of course, you have to convince him. I hate persuasion.
So you don't have to convince him, but you could pick the locks. But the lock picking stuff I don't get, and they don't explain it to you. So I'm like,
oh.
I'm like, okay, I've done it right before, but it takes so long for me to figure it out that I'm just like,
no,
I don't want to sit here and spend 10 minutes picking a stupid lock. What's the other option? Oh, convincing the guy. So I have to go through this conversation over and over and over again until I pick the stuff that he likes. Or you could bring this guy's daughter into it.
Oh, they didn't just give you a persuasion stat? Were you?
Because that's a persuasion stat. You do, but you still have to go through the conversations and figure stuff out. Like, I don't know how the persuasion stat works.
The way it used to work was you'd have one option or two, and that's it. No. You pick one option, and then it immediately.
This is like you have two nice options, two medium kind of aggressive options, two really aggressive options, and like you have to. You're just kind of going through like, hey, that felt like good. Like he reacted kind of good to that. Let me do this, or like.
It doesn't sound as much like a video game to me, to be honest.
So then I'm like, okay, and then I can get this guy's daughter involved. So there's like 3 options. Okay, cool. With this quest, there's 3 options I can do. That's cool. Didn't want to pick the lock because it takes forever. Persuading him, don't even know how to figure out. Now to bring the daughter back in, I have to reload my own save, go all the way back to my space, go back to this guy, go all the way back to the spaceship, get this guy's daughter, go all the way back to that area, and then figure that out.
Yeah, no, that's not. That's bro.
In
that's
that exact moment, I was like,
I'm done with this game.
Stop playing it. I don't know if I'm gonna. I'm not trying to say I'm totally done. But I am. I'm not kidding. I am very much so. Don't really care about going back to it.
Well, if you're interested. That sounds terrible. Even from a person who loves Bethesda, that doesn't sound like Bethesda. Bethesda, here's the thing. They don't seem structured, but they are. There are so many things that are structured. Like I said, the levels are structured. There's no way to fail a quest in the older in those Bethesda games. There's no way to get confused in a quest. You may have to Google like once if it's really confusing, but it's like childlike easy. It's not like, I'm not saying like, oh, you could just easily beat the thing in 10 seconds, but I'm saying like, it doesn't require you to have a whole dialogue tree of 50 different options. Most of Oblivion was you just listening to characters talking, they get to the point, and then you're done. There's no like, yeah, there's 2 options. Usually most of those games, there's like 2 options.
Yeah.
Bad or good. It's very binary.
So this is where I'm saying too, like I think I'm a little biased because, like I said, Fallout 4 I got bored of. I tried to play Skyrim, so bored. I tried to play Oblivion, didn't even get past the first cellar.
And honestly, for me, that's a tragedy, my boy, because the rest of the game is some of the best. Like, and so I understand you don't like those types of games, but bro, that game is at its peak. When it wasn't repetitive, when it wasn't boring, because even I sit here getting bored of these types of games, and I love them. I can go back to Oblivion in seconds flat because it's nice, it's fun. I do my little quests, and then I walk away from the game. I don't.
I'd rather play game. Like Fable or something.
Yeah, more structured. It's more structured. That's why it's not.
Because like there's some freedom, but it's more like, look, let's get you through the story.
Yes, you are talking about the main story. The main story is the part that you're interested in, and those.
And I can do that in Bethesda's, but there's still so much talking.
Bro. The main stories in Bethesda are some of the worst designed things you'll ever play. Like they're so bad. You can't even, dude. That's why the side quests have such good writing. The actual main quest in any other game is the worst part of the entire game. The only reason why you do it is to unlock more of the game if they limit it. That's it. That's
an interesting opinion. Okay, that's an interesting fact.
The way, what I'm saying is, I don't care if I'm the Dragonborn in Skyrim. Mm-hmm. I don't care if I'm this kid's father in Fallout. I don't care. I liked Oblivion, where you were just some random idiot who just comes in and is like, oh, I'm here. I'm not chosen. You're not a chosen one. When
you're
just a guy coming into the world, and then that
because Morrowind I just don't think I'm like I said. I
Yeah.
just think that I'm at a point in my life where
dude.
like I just don't care about this
It's
stuff.
an
Like this
genre.
kind of
No.
that used to be my favorite genre of all time.
And I wouldn't even. You know, it's funny. As much as I played those games, that's still not my favorite genre of all time.
Where I was like, if I could do magic, I was in. Or if it was like old timey, like medieval stuff, I was like, I'm in.
Well, it's just
my favorite stuff.
It's just boring old timey. Like when I compare it as an experience, for me, the only thing. See, I like quests. Now I'm sitting up here, but I'm trying to make a point. The point is, I'm not even. Keep in mind, I was excited for it. But the second it was coming out, the second you said those issues, the second I thought about it, I was like, okay, so how long has it been since I played a Bethesda game? Months? It's like, I'm not... There's a difference between me and other people. I have to be in the right mood. And that's rare. It's been a long time since I've been in that mood.
I think that maybe if it caught me at the exact right time.
And
that's why I don't want to sit here and say that the game is bad.
No, it's not that the game's bad. It's just the fact that you're not in the mood to pour so many freaking hours.
Some of the things I am let down by for sure.
Yeah, but... well, I don't blame you, dude. I was expecting, dude. I don't give a rat's arse about the companions in any of the Bethesda games. That's how bad it is. I don't care.
See, I like when you have people traveling with you, but yeah, they don't do it. They don't do it well.
They're so boring.
They don't do it well at all.
And then the second that the woman falls in love with you, she's instantly head over heels. If you have a persuasion of like 100, every woman wants to get in your pants. Basically, that's every. And for me, that's like boring. There's no relationship building. But I'm saying, think about it from a character building standpoint. It's so boring. It's so boring. At least with
the dialogue system isn't even good. Even good.
Is it the 4-option one where you push the button?
Yeah.
Oh.
But it's like, is it veering things off that much? I don't feel like it is. Like, depending on what you pick.
No, it doesn't.
KOTOR feels like what you say is like, whoops, I pissed them off.
Yep, and you can screw up quests and get people killed. A whole family you can have killed if you screw up your dialogue.
Like high stakes really affects everything. This game
Bethesda doesn't affect anything.
I was like, I don't really care about. Basically, what I'm saying is,
it's bad.
Long story short,
just be
I don't know
honest.
if it's bad.
I'm saying from your perspective so far, it is bad. And I'm not saying that
there are things that let me down. This is what I'm saying. Someone who loves Bethesda, though, I don't think that they would think this is bad. I think that this is great.
It's kind of refreshing to hear someone say this for once, because
normally I would. I'm not like refraining from saying it. I'm just saying like I don't know if it's bad because to me this type of game is bad.
I'm saying it's refreshing to hear someone have an outside perspective because, I mean, that's one of those games that I just get bored of and put down. It is.
I think Bethesda is just. I just think these games are boring.
You get to a point.
I don't think like to me, Bethesda as a whole, I'm realizing to me is just bad. Like I don't care.
It's because nothing like when it comes to impactful choices, you were 100% right. Almost nothing changes.
I loved Morrowind. It changed my life. Of like, whoa, this game is like
nothing like
insane. If I played Morrowind now, I think I'd hate it.
Well, dude,
I
tried to play it. I tried to play it. It was terrible. Honestly,
I would hate Morrowind now.
So
I don't. I think whenever they do whenever their Elder Scrolls come out, I think I'll hate that. I just don't think this is my type of game anymore.
No, it's not. It's not, and it's because it requires so much time. That's why, dude.
If you want to play Bethesda games, are like you want to only be a fan of Bethesda. Like you're only like your video. If your gaming experience is only their game, then I think that's the type of gamer. That's why these Bethesda guys are such huge fanboys. Is like because all they play is
that is true. They'll go around. They don't care about any other type of game. And in my opinion, that's worse than being that's. I don't think that's a good thing, in my opinion. You're limiting yourself. Look, there are plenty of games I love from Bethesda, but when I'm sitting here, and a lot of times, you know what I do? I just skip every single boring quest, and then I go to the quests I like, and then I stop playing the game.
That's probably the best.
All the time. Seriously,
that's probably the best option. Honestly.
That's it. And that's because I knew the game like the back of my hand. I know Oblivion like the back of my hand. I go to the quests I like. Oh, Thieves Guild quest, finish that. Mages Guild quest, finish that. And then Fighters Guild, I tried to do Fighters Guild, which is the third line for like warriors. Couldn't even get through it.
I mean, they've been doing this for... I thought they'd shake it up a little bit.
Bro, they're not going to shake it up.
They've been doing this for how long?
Do you know what's going to happen if they change
I don't know why I expected it
to
be more unique than it is.
What were you...
I guess I thought because they were working on it for so long, it was going to be like a masterpiece.
Bro, this isn't...
I think Cyberpunk is close to a masterpiece.
You were expecting Knights of the Old Republic levels of dialogue.
And what I should have done was just save my money and got
a
new Cyberpunk DLC.
Yeah, that's what you should have done, and then you could have played it on your computer, and it would have ran perfectly.
Luckily, I didn't buy. Oh, I'm happy I got an Xbox.
Good you didn't buy Starfield. Good you didn't buy it. Because I'm stuck with
you could say, well, you bought an Xbox, but I wanted to get a console anyway.
Yeah.
Like I have some kind of one. Because like we were talking about, our choices were either upgrade my PC a bunch or get...
Well, the difference is you don't care about that stuff. You don't want to sit here thinking... I'm saying, but you don't want to sit here thinking about what GPU do I got to get, or CPU, or build, or whatever.
Well, there's two different types of... Well, it's just the money, really. But there's two different types of... there's positive and negatives for both.
Yeah, well, you can't just plug it in and play a PC
PCs,
game,
I immediately notice things that I'm annoyed by on the Xbox that a PC just takes care of. If I wanted to get on Discord, I'll just open up a tab and I'm on Discord.
Well,
with Xbox, computer... like, how do I get Discord through the menu? How do I...
Yeah, a computer... Well, there's a difference between the two. The way I see it is, you have the people who use the computer, like... The reason why I have this computer isn't even just... Honestly, I barely even game on it at all, if I'm going to be honest. It's more so for the people who want to do stuff like this show we're even doing. Yeah. It's not for someone who wants to sit there and like solely game. Yeah. If you want to,
I'm not getting rid of my PC.
No, I love my PC. But I'm saying if you want to do like gaming with nothing at all, no strings attached, no needing to Google anything, you're gonna have a console because you don't have to do anything with it. Like there's a lack of optimization, and that's Bethesda's fault. That is, in many ways, that's who they're catering it towards, and I get it. I get why they're doing it. It's lucrative. Why have someone buy one particular build of... And not only that, it's lucrative for everybody. I guarantee there was some meeting they're in on where they're like, with these other GPU companies, like, yeah, we need to make it so it runs perfectly on this so people can buy it. Or we need this for the new console. It's the same...
I think it's harder to optimize for PC.
Which makes no sense because you made it on the actual system.
But I'm saying that there's like tons of different parts and components to put in. As an Xbox, it's like they all have the same thing.
It's not a different. Yeah, it's like you have to have different.
Which is a point that Colin from work pointed out upstairs. He was talking about that, and I was like, that does make sense because I was just thinking it was all about money. But he's like, well, also optimization-wise, it's just way harder because of all the separate components that you have.
I will say, trying to port a game to console,
which is why it's more on us. It's more on us to tweak our settings and figure our PC stuff out.
Yeah, but that's what they made it for. They're like, that's what you bought the computer for. That's what they're thinking. I guarantee that's what they're thinking. Oh, the other person can figure this out.
And that is true.
It is, but not everyone is willing to go through that kind of death. I
was basically just like, look, if I want a game, I want it to be something I can take places easy.
Yeah, you don't want to have some big tower you can lug around.
Just be like, oh, here we go. Xbox is just plug and play. You freaking download the game and you play the game. Now I do miss another thing I miss is having all the settings I can change.
The sliders and stuff. Yeah, so
it is as minimal as it gets on. Because I like playing Fortnite with lower graphics, so I'm having to get used to like having better graphics.
And that's terrible. It's terrible having that because when you have that, you can't. That's the thing about. That's what's funny about the multiplayer games. The second you have that experience, it just becomes worse in some ways. Where it's like, like you said, you can't see this guy because there's a whole ton of freaking foliage being generated on the level, and it's like. That's why, as a company, there's an old philosophy I liked that they used to do. They didn't focus solely on graphics. They focused on making the game playable. Like, why? I've had that happen too, dude. It's like you have giant bushes that people can hide in if you're on the highest settings and you can't even see them. Like, what?
Yeah, some of that aspect is like nice. Like, it's not that I don't like that it looks nice. I just don't want.
No.
It's just for a competitive game. I don't care.
No one, dude. That's why at first I was no competitive gamer, so I was like, why is everyone going low specs or something, or not low specs, but like running at low settings? Now that I see it, it's terrible, dude. It is so, like,
I don't need all these explosions.
No, that's graphics are almost getting too good to the point where things aren't being as readable. Like they're not as readable as they used to be.
Yeah, and to your point, what I'm saying is so there are negatives.
Oh, there's negatives to every side.
I'm like, dude, you see, I'm like, I look at the graphical menu on my Xbox and I'm like, there's like 4 options. I look at my graphical setting on my computer and I'm like, I have this special low setting that I was using. Now I'm frame dropping 3 times as much, even on low settings. When on my Xbox, it runs smooth the whole time, which is absurd to me. But this is the thing. I would never. I've changed what I thought about. Like, I would never advise. I used to be like, get a PC to everyone. I'm like, get a PC, get a PC, get a PC. Well, no reason to put this money in this.
Well, it's
get
two
a PC,
different
get a
crowds.
PC. But honestly, I just think consoles are going to die eventually. I don't think they will because there's so many people who are just like, I just want to get on and play games. I don't want to have to worry about. I want to plug and play.
They're not.
I don't want to have to worry about.
They're not
this
tweakers,
failing, this having a problem, this having a problem.
Well, they're not tweakers. People who
that's
like
kind of nice.
People who like PCs are tweakers. That's what they are, dude. They will. That's the difference. It all depends on what you're going in for. You know, it's like it's kind of like how it's gonna sound like a weird comparison, but it's like a movie or a show. Are you gonna sit down and watch an entire show and go through all the bad times and the good times, or are you gonna watch the movie where you just watch one thing and if it's terrible, you know, you can just watch it instantly? That's what's interesting. That's how I feel about shows. Like, I don't feel that way with computers, but with shows, I feel that way so many times. I'm like, do I really want to sit through? That's part of why I don't like it. You're sitting through something so long and so many episodes.
Same thing I feel about computers. I'm really like,
you're like so many settings. And I
love. Okay, I'm not a console guy now. I love computers, so like, I'm not trying to say that. The way I'm talking is I'm just annoyed that the gaming experience is so smooth on a console. But you gotta know too. Like, it makes sense because consoles are just gaming things.
Yeah, that's all they are. They don't have everything.
So if it's not optimized with the one thing that it does, that would be really sad.
And also, if you're not into doing the other stuff with the computer, you probably shouldn't even have, like, I'm not even trying to be rude. I'm not saying you shouldn't have one, but you shouldn't have, like, if you're making a choice, because for me, I like messing around with games, tweaking them, and just messing with them.
You definitely do.
If you're not into that, or like video editing or doing any of this stuff, then there's probably no reason to have a computer unless you have the massive amount of money to spend. That's one, because they are expensive. 2, if you have the time or patience to sit down and deal with it, and that's the other big barrier, because if you don't have the patience to sit down and tweak something so you can play it, why even have it? Like, that makes no sense to me. Like, I totally get being on that, like, that part of the fence. I'm saying for, like, those people who don't want anything to do with it at all, like, not even emulation, anything, just all that stuff. So for me, I totally get why people feel that way about it. It makes sense. Like, if you're not a psychopath like me who will sit through those issues, and I'm really stubborn and will not, like, I will never not, I'll be like, oh, this is getting done. I'm fixing this. I'm a fixer. That's part of what really makes me so obsessed with it is because of that. Because there's so much stuff I can do. I am not solely a gamer. I could not sit down and just play a video game anymore.
Yeah, and like I said, I have a computer. I
Yeah,
still play games.
you're
on my
not saying you're
computer.
getting rid of
I'm just saying that I understand the market for the Xbox.
That's what I'm saying.
People who are like plebs who are like, I don't want to.
That's what I'm trying to understand.
I get that.
I agree with you 100%. I'm trying to be like, yeah, that is totally a valid thing to even think. I don't blame them at all because it's tough. Now I will say, for anything but for anything but Xbox or PlayStation is kind of annoying. For Nintendo, it's annoying. That's one thing because you have to buy every single you have to keep buying the new system every time over and over again. That's also kind of annoying. Having to sit there and do it over and over, be like, oh, I got the Switch, and then having it suck horribly frame rate wise. There's a point, even I'll admit, if it is a new game and it's dropping like to 20 or 15, then yeah, that is bad. And some games make it more noticeable. Some games do have a more noticeable bad like frame rate. And that's why when I went from, like I said, I played Thief Simulator, obviously not a graphically intensive game. It was probably the worst experience I've ever had. Especially after finally getting it on another platform. I was like, dude, how do you optimize it this badly? I'm starting to wonder if that's not the trick of it when people make these games. If they're not making these games and thinking, oh, maybe they could buy the game on a different system and it would play better. Like, it's making me wonder if they're doing it on purpose. Because why is Nintendo so behind?
I don't know.
Like, why? Well, that's...
Oh, dude, you know why it's behind.
Like, why?
You talking about with their system?
Yeah.
Because they use cell phone parts.
Why are they using cell phone parts?
They did it so it would be mobile, like just so their whole gimmick is that you could.
I'm saying but you've got
handheld
Steam Deck now, and it's massive, and
but Steam Deck's just a graphics card.
It's
just a graphics card in a box. Like, it better be better.
But I'm saying, like, how has Nintendo not gotten to this point where?
Well, they haven't made a new system in like how long?
And they're still milking it. They're still milking the Switch.
Well, people are still buying it.
And they're still buying it. I'm like, dude, I can't even play. Like I said, dude, I'm going to show it again. I haven't touched this thing in ages. This is a paperweight to me. This Switch. Because they've given me no reason.
I don't use mine much
I don't
either.
know why, what is happening? That's what's confusing me. Why is it so underwhelming? Is it just that the games are worse? Like, is it the hardware being bad? That's something that I find interesting. What makes it so much worse?
What do you mean, the Switch?
I'm saying, like, for us to be like, oh, we don't want to play this. Because back in the day with the GameCube,
we'd always... it for Pokemon, and I love Mario Kart. They have IPs that are dope.
The IPs are amazing, but what I'm saying is like, how come back in the day when we had, like, a GameCube or whatever, we'd always, like, get on there, or at least I would. I'd always sit there in front of my TV, turn that baby on, play those games for hours.
I love the GameCube. I love the GameCube.
But, like, I feel like the lineup for Switch, I'm not talking about Pokemon, the lineup for Switch minus like a couple games has been pretty lackluster to me. Like, I tried to get into Mario Odyssey, I couldn't get into it.
I haven't really tried it.
I tried
it some and I liked it.
Breath of the Wild. I gave that 3 tries, 3 chances. Breath of the Wild, if you can believe it. I gave it 3 separate chances. That's definitely a cut. But anywho, I just don't know if
I don't know if I lost my train of thought. Anyway, the Switch is whatever. Like what I'm saying is the consoles have a market, and I think they always will.
They always will have a market. They always will.
Like they're always going to.
Not everyone will. And they'll keep having more versions pushed out and pushed out and pushed out. I agree.
But like I said, but what I'm saying is, as a PC person, there is very annoying things about it. Oh, there's a lot of like where I'm like, whoa, like why can't I just be like? First off, my HyperX mic doesn't work with Xbox. You have to have a specific. If I plug my mic into a PS5 or PS4, immediately works.
Yeah.
If I to an Xbox, nope.
Notice something there.
Like you have to have. I'm like, okay, so I have to have a specific mic. Why, like,
convenient.
So I was like, okay, well that's annoying. Like there are aspects of it that's annoying. Xbox controllers, I think, like the shape I'm getting used to, but I do think they're just worse quality.
They're interesting. Yeah.
I have a brand new one and it already has drift, and my PlayStation 4 DualShock doesn't have drift. I've been using it for years.
Dude, I mean, I love the look. I'm even gonna bring out an example here. I love this Xbox One controller, but if I actually used it like this guy did, it would fall apart. Like I'm gonna be honest. You would
think it'd fall apart?
Yeah,
well, is that a Xbox One?
Yeah, I don't think this would last long because, dude, look at this. Look at these sticks. Look at this. At this.
I was just talking about DualShock. My PS5 one, it got drift pretty fast.
Oh, DualShock 4.
Yeah, DualShock 4 is my favorite controller, but so I've been trying. I was annoyed. I kind of apologize to you guys because when we played Fortnite last time for like 2 minutes, I was like annoyed at myself because I'm just like, it's just a controller. Like the button layout's the exact same, besides where the sticks are, and the triggers are like a little different, but they're not that much different. So I'm like, for some reason, my brain couldn't get past it's a different controller, and I'm like struggling. And I was just starting to feel like I was getting kind of good at building on the other controller, and now I'm switching to Xbox, and I almost changed everything because of that. I was almost just like, well, I'm just going to play Fortnite on my computer then because I can use whatever controller I want.
It's an interesting concept.
In some ways, I aim better on the Xbox controller, which is strange. There's differences to them. I don't know if anybody goes so in depth on it because a lot of people, when you look up videos, are like, the buttons are different like this, and this. No one goes in like, oh, the grip is like. I'm like, I don't give a crap about what the grip is like. Like, what are the sticks like? How do the buttons feel? Like, how much reaction time do you get off them? Because I almost had to lower my sense on this one because it feels like I'm going turning faster.
And that's what's interesting. When you're talking about multiplayer games, and this is another thing, that's another thing. The controller does matter, and if your controller's not giving you a good experience, then why you'd think these companies would understand that a controller has to be made good. It can't just be mediocre or bad. It has to. I know that's an obvious thing, but if you're making a controller, it probably should be quality and not freaking start drifting. Have you not learned from Nintendo's Joy-Cons? Those were the first ones to break within seconds. Like,
luckily, my Joy-Cons have somehow held out though.
Which
is like,
that's a miracle.
I've lucked out. Yeah.
Mine,
but I also haven't used it a ton.
Yeah, true. Mine, because I tried to get into, like I said, man, I tried to get into Breath of the Wild. It's unbelievable me saying that. But when I was a young, naive boy, I was like, yeah, dude, I'm getting this thing at launch. I'm gonna have fun with it. This is awesome. I love the Switch. And then I come out and I'm like, and then my Joy-Cons start drifting. I'm playing, so I don't remember what I was playing. I think it was like Mario Kart or something. And then my Joy-Con started drifting. And I was like, what?
Yeah. You'd think, because I did mine through Ultimate, so I thought you'd think that mine would be...
like, within seconds.
Sorry, I need to stop. I'm listening to you. I'm going to stop looking at my phone.
It's driving me nuts.
But, yeah, the controller, their quality is not great on those. Obviously.
No, it's terrible. Disappointing. It's like
I'm all over the place. I'm not even trying to get into the controllers. Like I'm just that's just like me talking about personal stuff. Like who cares? And I was kind of like thinking about basically if I didn't end up liking the controller in Fortnite, there wasn't really much of a reason. I had moments where I was doubting my decision because I was like, I don't care about Starfield that much now. So it's like, if I don't play games on this, what's the reason of me having it?
I mean, if you wanted to play any game, like let's say you wanted to play, let's say way down in the future, like if whenever Fable comes out, if it ever does, let's say it's like massively crazy. I mean, do you really like you're like you said, you don't want to sit through having to optimize it yourself. That's what you're saying, and it makes sense. That's the difference. You're actually like those people in the way that you want it to be the highest quality right out of the box.
Not highest quality.
Not highest quality.
It's literally like
you don't want to have...
all my friends on console aren't having issues that I'm having.
Yeah, you're not wanting to have...
They're like, oh, mine's running fine. Oh, mine's doing this. And I'm like, okay, well, mine's running like trash. Doesn't matter what I try. I don't want to... Oh, now I have to look up a video to figure out why this is happening and try all these different scenarios.
You don't want
to... Or I could just play the game out of the box because I want to play the dang game.
Yes. You're saying... That's what I'm saying, is you don't want to do that, and that is totally understandable. Honestly, it's an understandable perspective.
It gets frustrating because I'm like, dude, I just want to play a dang game. I don't want to have to... Why is this? Why am I? Oh, Call of Duty's frame dropping for some reason. My buddy's like, I never experienced that a single time. Not once have I experienced that. Like, I'll always, whenever I'm playing with my buddies on console, I'm always like, oh, I'm doing this. Oh, it's lagging. Oh, this is happening. This is happening. And they're like, no issues for me. And I'm like, cool. Very cool that there's no issues for me and I'm constantly having issues to work out. So in that sense, yes, I am incredibly aggravated by the computer. But there's sacrifices that come with that.
Yeah, sacrifices.
I noticed immediately. I immediately noticed sacrifices had to be made.
Sacrifices. Right, well, it depends on which sacrifices are worthwhile. That's really what it is at the end of the day. The difference is you are sacrificing. I'm not saying, oh, you got rid of it, but I'm saying in an instance that someone did that.
I'm never going to get rid of my computer.
It'd be like, for other people, let's say the normies, they had a computer, it didn't work, and I totally get that. I totally get feeling this way, but let's say they didn't care about this stuff. Like, they didn't care about, emulation or all this crazy stuff, or this or that, or they didn't care about, basic stuff for computers. Like, you don't have to have that good of a build to emulate a lot of the games. Like, there's multi-purposes for a computer, and not many people like.
And dude, you're right. And computers are interesting to me. I like them.
Yes.
But when it comes to gaming, it's only been for the most part. I've only had issues that I have to tweak constantly.
Yeah, and the thing is,
sometimes games still don't run that well.
And then that's,
I've been playing forever.
That's what's so funny, because...
How am I frame dropping on Fortnite when I'm the lowest settings possible?
That's what's funny.
Everything is as low as it gets, and I'm still frame dropping.
Well,
how?
The contrast...
Explain to me how.
The contrast between us is so funny, because you noticed every little frame drop that I had, and I noticed none of it. Like, I literally noticed none of it. Because that's... See, that's the mark of two different gamers. I am the occasional gamer. It depends on what it is. A lot of times I play games that aren't that intensive, if I'm being honest. They're not intensive.
Like old games a lot.
I go back all the time because I just find new games so boring. I find them so boring. Like, that's part of where the appeal comes from for computers, I feel, is retro stuff. Because with consoles, you're just updating and updating and updating and updating and updating to the next model. But with computers... You can just go back to whenever you want it. You can go back to whenever you want it. It'll run twice as fast. But not everyone wants that. Not everyone wants to sit there and play an old game 20 times. For me,
I love playing old games.
But like
well, I say that, but I don't really ever do it.
All the time. Like, you wouldn't sit there. What I'm saying is like, my computer is basically an emulation machine. That's what it is. It's not.
It is.
It's not. I'm not sitting here playing. To be honest, Oh gosh. Okay, I was coughing there, but to be honest, because I'm getting so loud, but and my anyways, to be honest, it's like I don't. The that's part of the appeal to me is the fact that I can make something on it, or I just play an old game. I haven't played. I got to think. What is the most recent game I've played? Like actually played? Probably like got into Dying Light. That's from 2015. That game
actually might be. That might actually be true. That's the last one.
20, like I actually.
The Starfield would have been like the first one in forever. This one.
It probably.
Which I don't even know if you even care about playing it.
If you want me to be honest, after all the stuff I'm starting to do now, all the different plans for like content I want to make or stuff I want to do for games and like YouTube and stuff, I don't have the time to think about sitting down and playing a game.
That's it, because it's a time sink. And gaming is a time sink, but if you're not enjoying it, and I mean really, really enjoying it, it's a waste. It's like it is a waste of time at that point.
And I am.
So for me, I'm like playing Starfield, and I'm like, ugh, like I'm not enjoying this.
It's like, why would you want to?
I'm still happy I got an Xbox, thank God.
You know, it's funny. I talk about how.
Well, actually, I guess I could have returned it probably, but
talk about how different we are. But what's funny is, in some ways, we're kind of similar because we like gaming, yes, but we're not like every single day just going. We're not like these people who could sit there for hours.
It depends on what it is, because when I got a game like Uncharted 4, I don't even like Uncharted 4 that much, but the gameplay is fun. So like that, I played through that like rapidly. You get a game like Spider-Man for PS4.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
You know, there are times where there are games where I'm like, I love this. I know I love this. I'm gonna, dude. Recently for me, Hogwarts Legacy.
Oh,
I beat that game in 2 days.
I was shocked.
100%ed it in like 2 days. I was like, I didn't stop. I didn't sleep. I just like. I was like, didn't answer my phone. I'm like, I am doing this and nothing else. So it's like, when I find a game I like, it's going to be done.
Yes, it has to be a good game. It has to be good. It has to be.
But Bethesda just ain't that. It just ain't it.
Bro, honestly, nothing has been it for me in so long. It's been years, man. It's been... I wish it would have been different. I wish it would have been different, even as a Bethesda lover.
In Hogwarts Legacy, too, it's like... Unless they do DLC, I'm never gonna touch it again.
It's like it's just I don't care about these, like with these games. It's like I can't sit here and be like, oh, immediately hooked on them, like the stuff that I had, the stuff that I bought from a long time ago. I can easily go back into those games and be like, dude, this is really cool. But it's rare. I used to have a gaming taste where I would put one game in the freaking system or the PC, I just download it, I would be amazed. My jaw dropped. There was a time when I had that amazing like feel. And now it's gone, man. It's gone. It's gone.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. It feels like people and it kind of goes back into the discussion, and we're getting close to like we're almost at the hour mark. But what I want to say is that's kind of like what I was talking about with graphics and stuff. With it kind of ties back into what I was talking about with Fortnite. You know how you have to, you know, you're talking about how you can't see these people through like dense foliage and stuff, and you can't like when would that ever be, unless it's an intended mechanic? Why is that there?
I imagine they want you to not see through.
Like I'm saying, like in some games when you crouch down, it activates like a hiding mechanic where you're actually hidden and stuff, and it's intended to be in the game. Sometimes I guarantee you this is what they were thinking. Oh, this is a pretty place to put a bush. I guarantee you that's what they were thinking.
I doubt it, because they have bushes. Because they have bushes that they purposely put there that you can hide in, that they want you to be able to do on purpose.
But it's kind of funny. It's like, dude, doesn't that kind of...
I think that they did it to be like an area where it's like, hey, it's like a bunch of bushes. You can like, people who don't want to build can hide. Like, I think they do that on purpose.
That is such an odd, like, I guess.
But if you graphically, it's not as it's still hard to see him, but it's easier to see him on a PC because you can change your graphics to like no shadows, no, it's weird. It's like I'm watching a movie. How I'm playing Fortnite now. I'm like, whoa, this is like, and it's cool. Like some parts of it are cool,
but
it's like, taken. I'm getting used to it now, but it took me. The shift was like jarring that first, and then I was irritated because my mic didn't work with my Xbox, and then you also like they have Discord, which is nice. Like so I can jump into a Discord call from my Xbox, like not a call,
which they should have had in the first place. Like why did you?
I think they just realized like, oh, we need this, but to have this.
Why would you not have that? Like,
but they also had Xbox stuff on computer.
Yeah,
like they had the Xbox app. I know that it can be annoying.
Oh, it's it's like the only problem is that like the quality of the mics somehow go down.
It's definitely worse.
Like somehow it
they've improved it recently some, but it's still like not like Discord basically.
Like and what I'm trying to say is that like not every situation is, oh, look at these pretty graphics, but there are times where people are just trying to like. What annoys me is, and back when Halo 2 was made, some of the story people were like, oh, we don't need to pay attention to the frame rate. They were telling like the people who actually programmed the game, who cares about the frame rate? Let's just do this. Let's do that. It's like, dude, but that's not how a game works. You have to optimize your game. You have to optimize it. You have to make it. It's not a showpiece, is what I'm trying to say. And it feels like so many dang times, video games turn into showpieces. It for me, I don't know. Maybe that's just me, but it feels like they're just trying to make stuff showpieces. They're not putting as much effort into the gameplay. It feels like
I'm watching a movie. Yes, I totally agree. And I thought that during Starfield, I was like, it feels like I'm just watching like a average movie and I'm not playing.
Yeah.
I'm just like I'm watching cutscenes constantly.
Like
sometimes I get to shoot.
Like I understand there being cutscenes, but you're talking about hours of dialogue before what it sounds like to me is the storyline content of a linear game stitched together and chucked at the player's face. Not evenly spread out.
I just always thought Bethesda was like that.
No, dude.
Because when I played Skyrim, similar, where I was like, I'm doing stuff I don't care about.
I'm talking before Skyrim. Before Skyrim.
Yeah, because I loved Fallout.
In the days of Fallout. What I'm saying is what was nice about that is you had your content, but most of it was gameplay. In fact, the story content was bare. It was not so, like, it was there, but it wasn't the focus.
I'm still not very far into it, so I can't say that Starfield's not going to turn into that.
That's what.
But I'm saying the intro is just like such a big deal, and I'm like, this is anticlimactic, boring.
Yeah, well, because it's so dang scripted.
And just, I don't know. It's more than just that.
And the story's boring, dude. Bethesda game stories suck.
I just don't care about those types of games anymore. I don't even care if it was good. I probably wouldn't care about it, honestly.
Their stories.
It could be like incredible story, and I'd still be like,
They blow.
I just don't think that type of game is my type of game anymore. And I don't want to have to sit down and sink hours and hours and hours and hours and hours.
I don't want to either.
And like, they're like, everyone's like, oh, dude, the scenery's so detailed. You could pick up like coffee cups and stuff and put them in your storage. I'm like, who cares?
Yeah, dude.
I don't give a crap if I could. Dude, nothing annoys me more when there's stuff everywhere for me to loot than if I want to. I do not care about exploring the environment and opening lockers and opening, canisters and breaking into safes. I do not care. Do not care about that.
Like, it is very much busy work. It is busy work in a video game. And not only that, look.
Because there's people who want to go into an area of a room and they want it to feel like in real life and they want to look around. They want to look around at everything and be like, whoa, look how they want to get immersed. For me, that takes me out of it. I'm like, I don't care about this stuff everywhere.
See what I'm saying? It happens more with single-player games, but Nowadays, they are just set pieces. That's what they're turning into. A bunch of set pieces with no game. Like, when I'm playing a video game and I have to go through a story, I want to be playing the character. I don't want to be... It's like... That's why I talk about Arkham Asylum all the time. It throws you into the world. And yes, there's cutscenes and stuff, but guess what? That's not... Like, there's massive gaps between them. In a Bethesda game... especially from what you're saying, that doesn't sound like I understand
like
what
I said.
I
have not played much.
Yeah,
I really have not, and I'm not just saying that I'm just saying the truth. Like I've only gone to like the first or second main planet. I feel like, or something like that.
This is a first impressions thing, but so far, even for me, that doesn't sound too good. And I was,
and this is what I'm trying to get across is I don't like Bethesda.
You don't like Bethesda games.
It's like.
I agree.
I do not like them. So it's like I'm very biased. So for me, there's tons of people who probably love it.
Well,
and I'm just like, I don't care.
Do you know why I didn't want to get into it? Because
you played Fallout 4 a bunch.
Because I didn't want to sink.
Love that game.
And I left it behind. And I tried to get back into it. Guess what? That's one of the few old games. And this is coming from someone who replays old games constantly. I can't get back into Fallout 4. As hard as that sounds, I can't. Dude, I can't. It's so, like, I don't know, man. The gameplay's fun, but the amount of running around and having to sink skill points in and do all this stuff.
Dude, I don't care about that.
It gets a little bit boring after a while.
They're like, oh, dude, skill tree is like, there's so much skills. I'm like, so?
There's so many skills to the point where it gets boring. Well, not only that.
I want to go to places. I want to be able to be semi of a douchebag, and I want to blast some heads off. That's what I want to do.
You don't want to sit through a history lesson of...
I don't care about like what's going on with these artifacts. I don't care about...
Yeah, you're not into like this lore is not interesting. It's not.
I don't want this stale stuff happening. That's not interesting. Not done in any new way. Like I said, it just feels like the same stuff you put out constantly.
Yeah,
just recycled. And I'm like, oh yeah, but they do this on purpose. That's their thing.
Yeah.
That's what people like about them. Most people want to play Bethesda games and want it to feel like a Bethesda game. That's why they play it.
Well, they want the lore and they want the big exposition.
Because a guy from our work is playing it. He thinks it's dope. He's like, everything that I'm saying is boring, he thinks is awesome. Yeah. He's like super into the story. He's like, dude, I got this robot. I got this, you changed some stuff on my spaceship. He's like, now I'm like, this guy wanted me to help a bank robbery. Like basically what I'm telling you, but he's like amped about it. Like he's saying it like he went on an adventure. He's saying it like he's talking about it like he actually did it. And for me, I'm not that kind of gamer. No. I'm just like, I did this stupid segment that I don't care about that I had to do. I did this stupid thing I had to do that I didn't want to do. Like I had to run for like a mile. He's like, and then I changed my spacesuit and like this happened. I got poisoned on this planet. He's like, he's going through it. Like in his head, it's like he thinks he's going through it almost,
He is.
I wish I could do that, but I can't. I'm just not that way.
Dude, bro, it's a weird.
I feel like that's what I think I'm gonna be like, and then I play it and I'm like, ugh, like, I don't care about any of this.
And like Fallout 4 just appeared at the right time in my life when I had nothing going on. That's really the truth. I was in high school, so that was like beginning of college, high school, doing almost nothing. So I had time to sit down and do that. I'm not saying like, oh, look at me, I have no time, but it's boring, dude. It's boring having to sit there. Like I go to my, I'm not kidding. I go to my Bethesda game. I play my favorite quests, and then I leave. Because I'm so... Dude, why would I want to sit there and relearn everything? Like, why would I want to sit there and go to these new quests when I know nothing about them? They could suck. They could be boring. Yeah. Most of them are the same thing, believe it or not. They are. Kill this person, talk to this person, steal this thing.
Yes.
Do this. There's no consequences to the quests. And that's the problem. There is no, like, I don't have investment in any of the... If you want me to be honest, I don't even care about the stories of these things. I don't care.
Why do I... Yeah.
I don't even care. For me, it's the gameplay moments where the story is slightly, like,
to me, it's
sprinkled
just,
in.
This stuff was just boring. I'm like, oh, this is super boring. Like, if you like what you're saying, the whole reason of their games is to envelop you into this world, and it doesn't work on me.
Honestly,
if anything, all the stuff they do pulls me out of it. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I don't care about this. Like, and it's not even not caring about it is just like a simple it's kind of a cop out answer. I don't care about it because
it's long-winded.
It doesn't pull me into it. It doesn't make me feel like.
I mean, have I ever
The reason you play a solo player game, right, is because you enjoy the story.
Yes.
And if the gameplay is really fun, sometimes that'll
it's
do
not
it.
for
Like Uncharted gameplays, it's action packed, it's fun. The
it gets to the point. You're not saying
it's a quick adventure game.
Well, there's no busy work, and for me,
this is just like
oh, it's entirely busy.
You're
work.
trying to make me be enveloped into this game.
It's dude.
Like their whole thing is like, we want you to feel like you're really there doing this stuff. And for me, I'm like, oh, like all this makes me want to do is like play something else. Like this is all this
and
makes
you know
me
what's
do.
funny about that? I like them, but I don't care about the story either. I honestly could care less about half the crap they throw at me. The only time I thought it was decent was in Fallout 3. And every other game I played in Oblivion, story is so boring. Literally, dude, I love Oblivion, but the story is terrible. It's poorly written. It's same with Skyrim. Poorly written
I would
story.
hate it.
Bad, like really badly written story. It's only there for the gameplay. That's it. That's all I'm there for. And that's so anti-me. Usually I'm there for the story. I don't care. I could care less about the story in a Bethesda game. I could care less about it.
So what you're saying is, I just don't like That's what I'm trying to get at.
That's the
I just
core
don't
of it.
like them.
Well, the core of it is they have crappy storylines, and no one admits it. I hear them sitting here acting like these characters are iconic.
No, I don't even know. No one ever even. When I hear people talk about these games, no one's even talking about the storyline half the time.
It depends.
Like I don't even know what they are.
It depends.
I don't hear anybody say like, yeah, the story part, this part of the story, this part of the story. When people are talking about Bethesda games, they're always like, I did this and then I did this, and it never has anything to do with what the main stuff is. It's always like other stuff you're doing.
And I'm
like
be honest,
they're all about the freedom of choice. Like they love that part of it.
The side quest storylines for the most part suck too.
Yeah, but I'm saying like they're doing these games because they want to be able to pick what they want to do all the time. Like they like that.
They
like that they're
builds
like
and stuff, like character builds and all.
They like builds. Yeah, they like how their characters fleshing out. They like the decisions they're making in the moment. Because this guy's like, I'm gonna be like a Han Solo type guy. I'm gonna be like a
rogue.
Like a snarky. I'll be a hero, but like a snarky one or whatever. Like he's all into that. I'm like, dude, that sounds so. Like I could care less about if I'm being a snarky.
Well, that's why choice-based games are so like. Depending on the choice-based game, it is boring. Like, when I'm doing... Like I said... So, for me, there are characters I've liked in Bethesda games, but if you want me to be honest about the main character gimmick with the whole shtick where you talk and do all this stuff, I brought it up before in the Fallen Order podcast. I could care less about... There are some games where it works, choosing dialogue options. But if it's a long game, and that's all I'm doing... It's kind of boring. When my character is not defined in any way and I can make every decision for them, it's a little bit boring. What I want is a set path. I prefer that. When there is a story. That's why when people become quiet, have no voice acting, or even if they do, and every option is a dialogue choice, it's boring. I'd rather experience a story. I don't want to control every aspect of the story. Everything. Every part of it. That's basically like writing your own book. That's all you're doing. Yeah. And that's what Bethesda is in a lot of ways. It's writing your own book.
Exactly.
Writing your own story. And I was never there for the story. I was there for the gameplay.
Plus, the story is so stupid, I don't care.
I was never there. I'm not sitting here thinking...
They want you to get enjoyment out of like the decisions you're making. They want you to be like, well, you could go be a bounty hunter the whole game and not even...
experience
like they want you to
story.
They want you to be stoked on that. They want you to be like, the players that like this they like that they're like, just like it'd be like you, but in this universe. You're like, oh, like I'm just gonna go be.
And I hate that. I said that so many times. I hate it being me. I hate it
I want
being
you to
me.
tell me what to do. I don't want to be freaking looking around.
No,
trying
dude.
to figure it out. Like, I don't care.
I don't want
want
to have to make up my own character.
You can go to this planet in mine or like.
That is boring.
So.
That is
Who
terrible.
cares?
It is terrible.
Oh, you could be a miner. You could terraform planets.
And
I want to shoot my gun.
It is bad.
And I want to get through this story. That's what I want to do. So then I can set it down, and never touch it again. This is not that kind of game.
No.
This is the kind of game where.
No, it's a game where you would. It's not a game. It's not even a game I would even for the replay crowd. It's not that.
When
fun.
I'm paying money for a game, when I'm spending my actual hard-earned money for a game, I'm doing it for an experience.
Yes.
And not for me to be figuring everything out.
Yes.
24/7, and then being like, oh, now you get to make stressful decisions in a game too.
That's
it's like, cool.
Well,
thank you for making me stressed out in a game.
That's another big problem. I'm not even stressed. For me, it's just like, dude.
You're like, dude, you can get a job. You also can get a job in this world.
That's
cool. So I get to have a job? Like, cool, I guess.
Oh, they have that in Starfield. They introduced jobs now.
No, that's just what the factions are. They're jobs. Oh, you get to be a bounty hunter or a soldier, or the factions are just like jobs.
Ooh. Yeah, that sounds.
I don't know how in depth they go because I don't care about it.
They don't go that, dude. If it's a Bethesda game, they don't go that in depth.
Because they're like, you could be so I picked to be, like I said, I picked to be like the cowboys, space cowboys. I picked to be one of those, and they just do bounties. So I tried one bounty, or one or two, and it was the same thing. Oh, you go to this area, you kill a guy, you come back, and they pay you.
Well, once you go,
and I was like,
that's it.
This is it. This is my incentive, is to get credits.
That's pretty bad. Like, that's it. It's the same objective. You just go kill.
Yeah, you kill a guy, come back, get paid.
That's it.
And I skipped. There's all these guys. I had to go to like this base, this like pirate base. I literally just ran to the guy. I think they're thinking you're gonna like fight through the whole thing, but the combat's so slow. Like, killing someone takes forever.
Dude, yeah, that is a curse of Bethesda games. That is one other thing. Dude, when you go to anything that's slightly higher level than you, expect to be shooting them 20 times.
Yes. So I'm like, oh my gosh, this is taking forever. So I just ran to the boss, killed him, and left. I didn't do anything.
That's what I do too. That's what I do too in a lot of the games.
They probably think you're gonna like explore the area. No, I ain't got time for that. No. Let me complete my mission and get back out of here, please.
It's like, dude, I'm not gonna. It's like Dying Light. It's like, you have 50 zombies. You gave me the option to run away. I'm just going to sneak past the boss, grab the objective. It's like, dude, I love combat, but there's a point when combat takes too long. It can be hard, but I don't need to be hitting something 20 times and doing nothing.
There shouldn't be an aspect of like damage. Like that, like damage level like that.
Bullet sponge enemies. That's basically what it is.
It's like, that's just dumb. Like, it's like, okay, and then you're also making so I have to loot every character for ammo. No, thank you. No, thank you. I don't want to do that.
You have no idea how many times I would have to go to a store, buy ammo, and Fallout 4. I'd run out of ammo.
The people who like Bethesda like that stuff. They like that you have to prep up for each mission. They love, like, well, gotta loot up, suit up. I hate that. I don't want to do that.
And that isn't, honestly, that's what's so funny about it. I also get annoyed by that too. It's like, I like the games, but that is bad. In my opinion, that's bad design. If I can't, like, if I don't have something that can, like, why should my gun, why should I have to go around the entire wasteland looking for ammo? Like, that, dude, I hated that. I'd be like, oh, I get this sucky 10mm round instead of the 44 caliber, which can kill things so fast. So I'm forced to use a sucky, like, I'm forced to use this sucky weapon, this stupid, at the beginning of the game. That's why it's so hard for me to get into it, because getting the actual weapons you had before that could, like, one-shot people it was so annoying trying to do that. Ugh. Now you're making me frustrated with these games. Now you're making me mad at them.
And, you know, that's just like I said. I just think that the time I played it as a kid, it was just a very special moment for me to play it.
It was the perfect time.
And that's what I'm trying to say. It's not necessarily a bad game.
No.
It's just that I'm not into them anymore because there was a time where I loved Morrowind and I played it for hours and hours and hours. And I loved figuring stuff out because it was like, whoa, you could talk to people. Whoa, you have to you could do all these quests and go wherever you want. Oh, you can fight guards. Like you could do all this. Like, it's crazy. But now I'm just like, oh, I don't care. I don't care. I want you to show me what your vision was and then get out of my life. That's what I want. That's what I want my single players games to be.
You're different from me. I'm a part of the replay crowd where I'll go back to like Arkham Asylum or whatever.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
I've beaten Arkham Asylum many times.
We're similar in some ways where it's like it has the thing is.
But the combat's fun. That game is fun.
Yes, that's what I'm saying, dude. The combat, I will agree with you. The combat in most of those games is bad.
Super dumb.
It is really bad.
Like I've always thought Fallout's combat system was.
It was terrible. It was, dude. VATS and stuff.
I love New Vegas and 3. I hate that aspect.
Oh, it was terrible, dude. Fallout 4 fixed the combat and still kind of sucked because the problem was every time. Fallout 3, you know what's funny? Now that I think about it, Fallout 3 still had a better combat system because you'd get the ammo you'd actually find. Ammo was like a common thing. You'd find it everywhere. In Fallout 4, I can't even find a bullet for the gun that I want to use that I just customized a ton of. And attached scopes to and upgraded. I can't use the gun.
Yeah, like you got to go to a store. Got to go to a store and freaking buy ammo.
And then you have to find caps.
I'm like, no, I don't actually. I don't have to at all because I don't care.
And not only that, the ammo's freaking expensive. If you even want to, it's expensive. It's not even fairly priced.
You gotta go buy it all the time. Yeah.
You have to go fast travel to the town, buy the ammo.
I don't want to have to do that every time. I don't.
Dude, that part is very boring. Like that, even a man who loves it, like I said, even a man who loved those types of games, who couldn't get into it now because I can't get into a Bethesda game. That's just how it is. I can't do it anymore because I have so much stuff that I want to do. I have so much stuff I want to do that I'd rather be doing than sitting down playing this one game for a day.
Yeah, you're right. So that's what I wanted to get into, and so you feel the same way.
Yes,
that's kind
I
of
do.
The podcast is like. I was like, well, Seth has played and like Bethesda games,
but just because I like them doesn't mean I want to sit down and be like, oh, hello, let's go build the character and get all the weapons. And I'm like, I guess for me, I'd like it to be a smoother experience. That's what I prefer. If I was given those options, I would rather not have to sit down and have to do all this freaking stuff. I'd rather be like, okay, this is the point where I get powerful. It may not be in the same way that I'm powerful.
Yes.
It's a little bit different, but it's not so much that it's not like I have to do all this prep. I have to get my power armor repaired by finding metal. I have to upgrade it. Exactly. I have to upgrade it and give it paint jobs by completing.
That's how it is in this too. You got to repair your ship. You
have to repair your ship?
Oh yeah.
That's so stupid. Dude,
you get into combat, you have to repair parts of your ship with money when you get back down.
Who thought, dude, that is the dumbest thing.
You have to repair your ship. You have to repair your spacesuit.
Like,
if it gets shot too much, it gets compromised.
And then
you also have to put your spacesuit on every time you're going to go outside.
So basically,
depending on the air, depending on where you're at.
So it's basically NASA simulator, essentially. That's what it is. It is
in a lot of ways.
It's a lot like a certain game I called Kerbal Space Program. That's a game where you build your own rockets and you go, like, you have to understand the mechanics of rockets and all this stuff to actually get a rocket out. And who, seriously, that's a real thing. And I'm thinking in my head, who would want to sit down? And then when I think about it, I'm like, wait a minute. Every single Bethesda game, other than Oblivion, because you can just use exploits in that, other than that game, has the same thing over and over again. It is 100% the same experience over and over.
Sorry, that was a weird noise, but yeah.
It is literally the same, like, it is. Like, and that's why I don't play them much. That's why I don't, like, believe it or not, I don't play them much.
So if you love Bethesda, you should get this game. You'll love it. If you like the Bethesda experience, you will love this game. 100%.
I don't even have.
This is not me saying don't buy it.
No.
This is me saying that if you really enjoyed Fallout 4, stuff like that, you'll love this game.
Viewers, if this is your viewers, if this is like the best thing you've ever done since sliced bread, the best thing you'll ever experience, yeah, get it. We're not saying it's a trash game. But he's saying that he wasn't into it, which is completely valid. And I'm saying I don't have the freaking time to sit down and deal with all that crap. I barely, I don't have the patience or time either. I don't have it. Because it just feels like I'm sucking away hours of my life on this game that hasn't wowed me as much as it used to. So I'm kind of in the same position. Believe it or not, we're very similar in the way where I can't sit down and play like a full session of it anymore. I may be able to have like one day at most, but then after that, I'm like on to a different game or another thing.
I was popping on, playing like 2 hours, an hour and a half. It'd be like when I was too tired of Fortnite, I'd pop over there and play that. But there's other games I'd rather play.
It feels like a chore. It feels like a chore, dude.
So it's not for me.
No.
Funny because I got this Xbox to play it. And now it's just like, I'm just glad I got an Xbox in general, but still.
You're like...
This will probably be what I'm gaming on.
You're like, this is a bummer.
What is that sound? Do you hear that?
No. It might be people upstairs. I hear them making noises all over.
No, it sounds like gunfire. Anyway, I'm not saying it is. Probably shouldn't even have that in the podcast.
This is a tense episode.
No, I don't know what that sound is, but anyway.
Anywho, that's what we were trying to say after this long thing. We were trying to get to the point of we actually finally
I got distracted.
I rambled. We got to the point. Yes. Obviously, both of us are not
basically consoles.
Yes.
I get why people get them, and I bash them so much, but I get it. Because I'm also annoyed as crap by PCs being annoying and you having to gotta tweak this, gotta fix this, gotta tweak this.
And for me, I'm the tweaker. It's the perfect thing for me.
For Bethesda, if you like Bethesda games, you'll love this game.
Yeah, you'll love this game.
But don't expect anything that unique.
No, don't.
Because it is exactly like a Bethesda game.
No,
but it's like Bethesda on crack. The conversations are longer. The world's bigger. You could do dumber stuff as much as you want. But anyway, we are done.
Yes. We've ranted
Anything
enough.
else you want to end on there?
What I'm going to end on is, so for me, I'm the tweaker. I liked Bethesda back in the day. I was also that kid who sat down mesmerized by every, detail of stuff. I'm not that kid anymore. And if you guys are, that's great. That's great. You can enjoy it. You can enjoy it. Both sides can coexist. Hopefully they can actually freaking optimize things for PC in some way. I'm not saying you can perfectly do it. I'm saying at least try. But last thing I'm saying is that's it. Everyone's a different kind of gamer. Bethesda is rough once you get older though, Bethesda is a lot rougher to get into.
Yeah.
I feel like that's just the truth. But we'll see you folks later. God bless.
God bless. See you next week.
Well, that was
Bye-bye.